Okay, so what is it? Why don't you like Colonial Marines?
Okay. So first of all, this was a game that was birthed in lies, and it was so fucking atrocious that my rage carried all the way over from like February 2013 when it came out. It has been 6 years, and I am still furious. So this game was actually announced in 2011 or something like that, and then just no one heard anything about it. And I found out about it looking through shit you could pre-order at GameStop and thought, oh hey, I didn't know they were making my favorite movie ever into a video game. And then I just sort of forgot about it until E3 2012, when there was this really cool demo, and Randy Pitchford got up on stage in all of his shitbird glory and talked about how they love the movie Aliens. Normally movie games suck, but ours won't, because we aren't being forced to meet any deadline when the movie comes out, because the movie came out like 20 years ago. We're just doing the world justice. We wanted to make the ultimate alien experience. We have been crafting this wonderful survival horror game where you get to experience what it's like to be a colonial marine. And the demo does look pretty good. The graphics are nice. It's spooky as fuck. There's all the Colonial Marine shit. There's the Sulaco. Wait a second, why the fuck is the Sulaco there? Really makes you think. But whatever, we'll roll with it. Getting closer to release. There hasn't been a lot more. They never released a demo to play beforehand. No one's getting preview copies up until the embargo is literally day of. Now that's more common than it was back then. So all we got was one more trailer before the game comes out. That's your dialogue. Listen up, chicks and dicks, and oorah to ashes. Just really dumb. It wasn't catchy like the movie. It was just dumb. And people started getting concerned, and the lead writer goes out on Twitter and says, "Don't worry, that's just in the trailers. It's not in the games." Spoiler alert, it is absolutely in the games, and we fucking lied to us all. That's not the only lies, though. So, it's so bad that, the days before, critics are saying, don't pre-order things. We recommend, if you have pre-orders, cancel them, because you're going to be disappointed generally. Just, hinting as much as they could without breaking NDAs that something really shit was about to come out. And even, this is reflected in the game being available for, $40 if you look in the right place. Whatever. I'm stupid. I pre-ordered it because it's Aliens.
Naturally.
Oh god. So, release date comes. The game comes out. It gets all the critics give it pretty bad scores or mediocre. IGN gives it a 6 because they're IGN.
IGN PC.
I don't even look. I briefly skimmed those. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make my own judgment here. So, because I already have preloaded, right, loaded up. These aren't the fucking graphics I remember. Looks kind of like ass. Start playing, it doesn't look anything like the demo we were shown at E3. Here we get to the first jarring thing. Why the fuck does the M41 pulse rifle have iron sights? Straight up, Call of Duty iron sights that you look down, and they look fucking weird on that thing. Play a little bit more. Why is all the lighting so shit? Why is everything glitching out constantly? Why am I being exposed to the worst dialogue in the history of dialogue? What the fuck is the Sulaco doing over LV-426? Oh yeah, because apparently this is in between Aliens and Alien 3, or it's just a sequel to Aliens, with Alien 3 being non-canon, depending on which Randy Pitchford interview you're paying attention to. So apparently it's been 17 months, and that's how long the distress call was going to take. Only in the movie, it said it would be 17 weeks before the distress call reached out. So, what the fuck is going on here? It's like the person that wrote this script, watched the movie once while drunk, or had it open in another tab while they were like browsing Pornhub. Because there are like vast plot fuck ups that like go on where they try to reference the movie and they just fuck it up. And it just keeps getting worse. There's more graphical errors. The xenomorph AI is dumb as shit. I have them like get fucking caught on hand railings on ramps while they're just like on two legs, walk up the hand railing like they're walking up a tightrope and swat you in the face.
I remember when that happened in the movie.
Yeah, right? It's really bad. Once I had a thing where, like, I got killed, and as it was going to the death screen, I had two aliens stuck, one on top of the other one's shoulders, with, like, the bottom one's head squarely up the top one's ass. And, it just, shit like that kept on going. Get down to the planet. It turns out Weyland-Yutani has mercenaries here. They got here first, and they've been running experiments. And something. And so you end up spending about half the game shooting at other Marines, basically. That's right. Most of this is a Call of Duty style first-person shooter against really stupid human enemies.
Oh, Lord.
And like just shit like that keeps going. You think that like, and they have opportunities, and they hinted that someone from the movie survived, right? So eventually you get down to this sewer level, and this is where like I was sort of having a little bit of fun, and like I was on and off. This is the moment where any possible fun was sucked out. So the only character in Aliens that you don't see explicitly get killed, well, there's a couple, but the main one is Hudson. You see him fall through the floor, and that's the last you hear of him. But in theory, he could be alive. Maybe. Well, long story short, he is not alive. You find his dead carcass, splattered up against, like, held up against the wall in the weird alien goop, and you get, like, his shotgun or something like that. Okay. So, fuck it. Okay, we're going. And you go down into the sewers, and there's these weird xenomorphs that can't hear you. Well, they can only hear. They're blind, and you have to sneak past them. Problem is, their AI is retarded, and half of their animations are missing. And so they're basically hobbling around almost like teeth in their sewers. And it turns out that you need to do very specific things to make them actually aggro. And simply bumping into them is not enough as long as you're not moving. Which is how you can be standing very still and have the same xenomorph clip through you like 4 times.
Jesus.
This is... Like, the story level starts off scary. It stops being scary after this. And also the xenomorphs will explode for whatever reason. They don't attack you, they just blow up like fucking acid bombs. After this level, you get all the way up to the top or whatever, and there's a power loader fight.
Get away from her, you bitch!
Where you're not fighting like the alien queen, you're fighting a smaller, shittier alien queen. And basically the fight is flailing around as the alien queen clips through you and you clip through the alien queen, and animations that suggest you're hitting the alien queen or grabbing her like play, but like you'll be like 10 feet away. But it still does damage on the boss health bar thing. Like, there's horrible animation desync throughout the entire fight. It's not fun. It's not well done. And all that. More bullshit running around. More bullshit Call of Duty stuff. Then there's bits where, like, there's just a ton of, like, immersion breaking shit that even makes it worse. Like, you'll see aliens, like, getting ready to ambush you on a distant wall, and you can shoot at them with your pistol or rifle, and it'll play the animation of them being hit. You'll see the green acid spray, like, if they're decently far away, but they won't die. It turns out you can't damage them because they haven't really like entered the level yet, and so you just have to wait for them to go and drop down behind you. Then like the absolute moment where I just couldn't anymore was in the space of about 15 minutes. All of this happens where you go in. One of your people was facehugger. You thought you got it off soon enough. You didn't. and it explodes out of her chest in one of the most poorly animated, poorly acted scenes I have ever seen in a video game. Ever. Like, there is more moving dialogue and animation in the original Deus Ex game, which came out 13 years before Aliens Colonial Marines.
What a
That is
rotten
how
way to
bad.
die.
That's a negative.
Rendered, it looks worse than a lot of
Need
crazy.
understand parameters.
It's awful.
Subject.
And the worst part is, like, after that, you're like, it lets you loose in this room. It somehow looks like an even pretty looking version of the cutscene. And I just went like, I wonder what happens if I shoot this window. And I go and shoot it, and a bunch of bullet decals appear on it. And about 5 seconds later, they all start disappearing. It's like, and this was 2013. This is the same year that, like, Uncharted, The Last of Us had been out for a year by this point. Right? Like, it was truly shocking. And then, you finally find out the person that is still alive. It's Hicks. He's missing an eyeball. And it turned out, if you went and bothered to buy and play the DLC, which I did not, that it wasn't him that died when the ship crashes in Alien 3. What happened was the Weyland-Yutani Corporation intercepted the ship, pulled Hicks, put in a shitty clone of him, then in the ensuing struggle, if you lost an eyeball, then they basically go, booted out Ripley and Newt's and the fake Hicks' escape pod, stole the fucking Sulaco, dragged it all the way back to LV-426, and then were busy interrogating Hicks in their weird xenomorph torture dungeon for a few months on end, and had this entire facility set up this entire program, and did all of this random shit. Basically, the entire game's plot was set up. In between time, the Colonial Marines received the distress call, the original distress call from aliens, got some shit together, and showed up. Like, they have this, like, whole elaborate base and shit like that. It's like, what the how? And then after Hicks explains everything, well, okay, in the original game, he didn't even explain. Literally, you ask him, how the fuck are you here? You're supposed to be dead or whatever. And he just says, it's a long story.
Fucking hell.
And, well, maybe he could have explained it, like, later. Because he immediately gets killed again after that. And then you have a fight with a real alien queen that just amounts to you running around and hanging on a drop ship and pushing 4 buttons so she gets vented out the back. Roll credits. Total playtime, 6 hours. This was a full-price release. Yeah, there was a co-op component. I actually played through the power loader fight in co-op with a friend. That was when it became even more obvious just how fucked a bunch of things were. Like, in cutscenes, you don't always have 2 people in the cutscene, so, like, it would play a cutscene where you're both from the same perspective, and then it would just, like, split into 2 fucking people.
I fucking hate when games do that.
Constantly desyncs, disconnections, and if anyone got more than 50 feet in front of the other person, the game would just sort of teleport you all back together. There was a multiplayer component where you could play as either Colonial Marines or Xenomorphs. I honestly gave it about 10 minutes of my time before I just uninstalled the game as a whole. Later it came out that basically Gearbox had taken all the money Sega had given them to make it and spent that money making Borderlands 2 instead, while they farmed the game out to a studio called Timegate that will always be known in my heart for making the excellent Section 8 Prejudice, a game that no one played and no longer exists, unfortunately. And so Timegate just worked on it for like 2 years without really any supervision or being told what was really the game to be. They were basically told, here's some money, go make an Aliens game about the Marines or some shit. Anyways, Sega starts getting up Gearbox's ass about where the fuck is our Aliens game we gave you like $60 million to make. I'm not exaggerating, by the way. Sega ended up suing the shit out of Gearbox over all of this. It was a huge fucking deal. But the end result was Gearbox goes and checks in on what Time is doing. They are very unhappy with it. They basically take the project from Timegate, don't pay Timegate, causing Timegate to go out of business, and then they basically turn around and shit out the entire game in 9 months. So yeah, so when they went up and put up the whole, yeah, no, we've been putting in the effort to give you the Alien game you deserved, it was just blatant lies. That E3 2012 demo that impressed everyone so much, that was literally everything they had at that point. That was like their entire fucking vertical. That was the entire game as it existed at that point in time, and then they just built the rest of the game after E3. They literally, for their demo, they just had it running on an ungodly powerful PC, and we were like, yeah, no, we're gonna make it look nice. Fuck it, whatever. We'll just make it run properly on not $4,000 computers later. Same deal with the writing. Like, they didn't have they were just making shit up as they went along. They put in the absolute bare minimum. Sega had given them a deadline of, come on, guys, this is when your contract. Really get it out. Sega was so furious that they sued Gearbox for a substantial amount of money. And now sort of they took the Aliens license away from Gearbox. Now it's now we're getting mobile games because we got Alien Isolation from the same people that do Total War games, and it was very scary and very well reviewed and didn't sell a lot. And so the next Aliens game is going to be an Android and iPhone game. It turns out that during the same time that Aliens Colonial Marines was in production, Obsidian was working on an Aliens RPG that was also pretty close to being done, and Sega canceled it because they didn't want to overcrowd the market when they thought that Colonial Marines would be better being a first-person shooter than an RPG. Oops. And yeah. The long short of it is, most recently, Randy Pitchford and his former attorney for the company are getting into it, and there are current allegations that Randy Pitchford was keeping child porn on a flash drive that also had a bunch of company stuff, and Randy Pitchford's defense is, it's barely legal porn, and I'm just curious how they did the squirting special effect, which is why I was keeping it with me. I swear to God, none of this is being made up. Depending on how this plays out, Gearbox will either be less rich in the near future, or Randy Pitchford will be in jail, or the lawyer won't have been very successful. It's a bunch of wild shit, none of which will stop them from releasing Borderlands 3 or continuing to be a company, unfortunately. And yeah, that's my fucking Alien Colonial Marines rant. Fuck you, Randy Pitchford. Burn in hell, you dumb cunt.
He'd make Todd Howard proud, huh?
Honestly, in that moment, Randy Pitchford was far worse than Todd Howard. Todd Howard might have ported Skyrim to everything and been less than honest about the overall quality of Fallout 76. Fallout 76, well, it massively underdelivered, has the dubious claim of at least being a game. It is a game that exists that you can play through. It will take you a while to get through all the content.
Just works.
Yeah, like it God damn it.